So the funny thing about doing VEDS is I have been watching VEDS for almost as long as I've had a YouTube account. I don't remember exactly when I subscribed to Matt, but it's gotta be like 2010 maybe? 2011 at the latest? Editing Alicia here. It was actually July 1st, 2012. Matt was my second subscription. My very first subscription was Team StarKid on December 1st, 2011. And not only did I subscribe, I went back and I tracked down a whole bunch of his other content, including some stuff from the Shiny Happy Vloggy people. Every now and then I'll click onto a video and it'll say 2007 and I'll be like, holy goddamn, that video is 12 years old. YouTube doesn't feel old enough to have things on it that are 12 years old, but there it is. And so just for fun, lately I have been putting together a playlist of what I like to call YouTube vintage. At first I decided like it's only gonna be things that are at least 10 years old, but then as it turns out, like there were a bunch of things that were like 9 years old that I still felt belonged in this category. So it's a loose definition, you know? And when I say vintage, I'm of course referring to internet vintage, where things get old within months, weeks sometimes. So I will link to that playlist down in the description, but for right now, I'm just gonna show you a few clips of a few of my favorite things on that list.
Shoes. 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 Oh my god, shoes.
Okay, so if you haven't seen Shoes, you should really go watch the whole thing. I didn't catch up with this one until a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it is a classic. I mean, it looks like a dorky video project, but by the time you get to the end and there are like women juggling things on fire, you can see that this video has some real production value. Not to mention this song is just super catchy, and I've also always loved the sort of Valley Girl thing. It's one of my favorite things to do to freak my friends out, is like, oh my god, I talk like a total Valley Girl, and it just makes them all weirded out. I don't know why, but they're totally bugging. Clueless is one of my favorite movies. I used Alicia Silverstone in Clueless, a little icon of her, as my avatar online for a long time. I think she's still my avatar in some places. Another thing from old school YouTube that I love, remixes. So I still watch a lot of remixes, I still enjoy that kind of content. I actually really love some of the people that are making Game Grumps remixes, like Master Sword and M1. There's some fantastic content out there, and that's often what's on my playlist in my car, because it's just really upbeat and keeps me going. But when it comes to the old school stuff, I have two classics. They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard obviously is an internet staple. It's so simple, but so effective. I really love it.
Burn all the food, shame, rum. Burn all the food, shame, rum.
Yes, the rum is gone.
Why is the rum gone?
And then the remix of Why Is the Rum Gone is just fun. It's one that I happen to like a lot. I think it's really well edited, the use of sound effects as sort of a bass beat is really fun, and it maintains the epic grandiosity of Jack Sparrow's theme from the film.
Dumbledore! Hermione. Dumbledore.
Snape. Harry Potter. I'm Harry Potter. I'm Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Singing our song all day long at Hogwarts.
How could I make a list like this without talking about the Harry Potter Puppet Pals? God, I've been a Harry Potter fan since I read the first book when I was 6 years old, and it's just always been a part of me, you know? And then you get older, you get into fandom, somebody shows you a Harry Potter musical for the first time, and the Harry Potter Puppet Pals, and then you're just down a YouTube rabbit hole. One thing I'm noticing as I talk through this list is that there's a lot of music on here. I don't know, maybe that's just some of the most memorable stuff, is the stuff that's catchy and sticks in your head, you know? I've actually been finding that at about 4 o'clock at work, I start singing under my breath. I think it's something that I do when I get bored, or when I'm slightly nervous. And speaking of music, here we have it, one of my favorite songs that Matt's ever written.
I wanna be the Pudge to your Alaska, but without the whole dying thing. I want to be the Lancelot to your Guinevere, but without cheating on the king. Let the naysayers have their say, but I don't wanna hear walls or cats. I wanna have a literary romance.
I probably love it because I'm a literature nerd and a hopeless romantic, and this song just blends those two things beautifully. Alright, finally, something that's not music.
Time for the sexy close-up, Hank. Look at that beautiful fat sandwich. Alright, Hank, I'm gonna eat this.
Describe it, John.
It's kind of delicious.
That's what I thought you'd say.
I could have gone back to an even earlier Brotherhood 2.0 video, but eating a fat sandwich is just one of my favorite Vlogbrothers videos of all time. And it's still from June 2009, which makes it more than 10 years old. I don't know what's so compelling to me about John eating a fat sandwich, but I just find it endlessly compelling. So that's a few excerpts from my list. There's a bunch of other stuff on there, and I assume I'll keep adding to it as I think of more things. You can find the playlist here. That's all from me today, babes, and I will see all of you tomorrow.